Today through April 1st, we're going to go ahead and start going over those Math 8 concepts that maybe we haven't been able to touch so far this year in your algebra class. And so today's going to be one of your first rotations to do that. So before you go through your rotations, I need you to just grab a mathematics chart really quick and just have access to one. I know that you guys are familiar with these. I know that you used them, and since 3rd grade you've had some sort of mathematics chart. In the past, the difference is that you've actually had kind of a legend on the bottom to tell you what the big B and the big P and what the slanted L means. Okay, so for example, if you're going to do surface area of a prism and you're going to do the total surface area, can somebody tell me what the big B and what the big P means? Yes, ma'am.
The B is the area of the base and the P is the perimeter of the base.
Okay, so this is the area of the base that it's sitting on, right? Okay, so you have to be really careful when you're talking about like a triangular base prism. Why do you have to be careful about that? Because typically, I'll tell you that your picture on a triangular base prism typically is sitting like this, right? So why do you have to be careful on that? What is the base? The triangle. So remember, although it may be sitting on that rectangle, you have to remember that the name of the shape is going to tell you what base you're going to have to find the area of. So in this one, you'd have to find the area of the triangle in order to go through with that. Okay? And then you're right, this is perimeter of the base as well. So am I going to get the perimeter of the rectangle or the perimeter of the triangle in this one?
Triangle.
Right. Okay, so your base is your base no matter whether you're talking about area or perimeter. So that's where you're really going to have to make sure that you're knowing what you're going to get that. So let's talk about a triangle. This is going to be a pyramid. And in your pyramid, you're going to have, if you're going to do the lateral, this is what it's going to look like here. So what does the L mean?
Slant height.
Okay, the slant. Okay, so sometimes what they'll do, and you have to be careful about that, sometimes what they'll do, and I'm a terrible artist, so you just have to be patient with me. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll put an arrow and they'll say the height equals 5 centimeters. And then you'll have this, and it's 7 centimeters. Which one are you going to use? The one with the dotted line that's going up the side in the middle of that triangular face. Okay? So sometimes they'll give you too much information to try to get you to use the wrong information to come up with your answer.
So we're going to use 7 centimeters in that case?
Yes, you would use a 7 centimeters. So right here, that is your slant. That's your height. Are you even going to use the height in here?
No.
So be very careful because there's some information on some of these sheets that you're probably not going to have to use all of that information on. Okay? So be careful when you're doing these. So let's go ahead and say we're going to do, what did I say this one was? The total of a prism. What I want you to do when you're doing the total surface area of the prism, when you're doing perimeter, go ahead and write in what the perimeter is. So if the perimeter of your prism, again, I'm not an artist. Miss Castleberry was not my art teacher back in school. So if this is 5, 4, 6, so your perimeter of your base, what is that going to be? How'd you get 20?
6 times 2 plus 4.
Okay, so you're using this as your base, right here? Okay, so you need to go ahead, 6 plus 4, and then that's times 2, right? Okay, you can get 20 that way. Then you're going to multiply it times your height, which is 5, right? Okay, so I want you to plug it in like this, and so you know exactly what to do. If you need to also plug in like the area of the base, if you need to go ahead and plug in And then if you need to do your area, your length times your width, then go ahead and do that. Okay, so sometimes you'll have to go back in and plug in those numbers. It's going to get pretty confusing when you start doing cylinders and when you're starting to do spheres. You don't have any spheres today, but that'll come next week for you in a review. And so you don't have any of those today. Other than that, you have every other example that's on your sheets today on here. Okay? So today what you're going to do is you're going to get a sheet of paper that looks like this. Each one of these boxes, there are 10 questions around the room. Make sure you put the right answer in the right boxes. You're going to rotate around the room. You may not use a calculator. In algebra, you can use a calculator. In Math 8 on the test, you cannot use a calculator. So you need to take your math chart around with you. You need to take around your sheet, and you need to go ahead and answer all of these questions. You have three that are going to be numeric. Question number 3 over here, when we blew it up, the sizes changed. And so you're going to have to come up with a numeric answer. Although there's 4 answer choices, none of them are right. So you'll have to get a numeric one for that one, and there's others that don't have response choices on there. At the end, it's a grade, so they're 10 points apiece. So make sure that you're doing correctly. Are there any questions? Crickets? All right, have fun.